I graduated in 2015, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Synergo Technologies, which is a software that helps with productivity and collaboration issues. Okay, so let's just start. So as we all know, COVID-19 has changed how the workplace operates. According to Gartner, 50% of organizations have now reported 81% working remotely during this coronavirus pandemic, which has led to this joke that who is the leader of digital transformation in your company? It's not the CEO or CTO, but actually COVID-19. And it looks like these changes are here to stay. So a lot of HR leaders, a lot of business leaders still will allow their employees to work from home even after the vaccine is apa namanya, administered and even after this pandemic period. Why, you ask, is because there are a lot of benefits to remote work, uh, such as an increase in productivity, increase in employee health and satisfaction, expansion of the talent pool beyond your immediate vicinity. Uh, and to look at it in a more broader sense, not only does it benefit the employee in terms of a better work-life balance, cutting down on wasted time in commute and in meetings, not to mention the time and stress it requires to commute to work, but also opens up new work opportunities for the employee that wasn't available previously. From the company side, it reduces turnover because employees see working from home as a benefit. They also prefer working from home or partially remote as opposed to being uh, somewhere in a high pressured environment. Um, Companies also save on real estate costs, reduce unscheduled absences from the fact that employees usually call in sick when they're just tired of work and want to stay home. While now they can always be at home and then continue to work. Again, the increase in talent pool means that you're not limited to the people that you have in your immediate vicinity, and you can hire literally anybody across the world, and you can ensure business continuity even though the office is unavailable like now. Um, on top of that, remote work also benefits society in general by reducing traffic jams and accidents, reducing pollution caused by the commute, and in some countries has raised the retirement age because a lot of these old retirees can come back to work because maybe they cannot commute but can still work from home. However, a lot of organizations are not equipped to handle work from home or remote work. 41% of employees still use unsecured personal apps to access work-related files. 44% of employees report a lack of infrastructure in terms of rules and also applications in order to be fully productive at work. And 50% of HR leaders and 52% of employees feel that the biggest hindrance to that is a lack of technological infrastructure and has led to a dip in their productivity levels. Across the board, we can see and categorize challenges to remote work into three different categories. First is administrative, where some jobs just cannot be performed remotely. Time zone differences, company infrastructure or home infrastructure does not allow for remote work to be as productive as office work. From a productivity standpoint, usually there's a challenge in setting clear expectations. There's a challenge in allowing access to important information for them to continue to work. A lack of mutual knowledge, meaning um, some things that were previously communicated through the office setting now is not available. And of course, another challenge is supervision. From an emotional standpoint, employees sometimes feel isolated from coworkers and lose a sense of purpose. The inability to separate work and life and the association that remote work is actually just an extended staycation. So what to do in order to be able to ensure lasting remote work success? We at Synergo see it as making sure that we have these building blocks for a remote work ready organization, starting with addressing the technology gap. As previously reported, infrastructure and tools is a building block in creating a positive and remote work ready organization. After that, an organization needs to create a positive remote work culture. They need to set clear rules and expectations. And on top of that, then you ensure accountability of people are working or not from home. So the first part is addressing the technology gap. So this part At the beginning, we need to be able to facilitate information access and collaboration. A lot of the times before this pandemic or before this remote work boom, usually people are accustomed to on-premise applications, searching for physical documents, and using email and Excel to be able to track work in general. That doesn't cut it anymore because a lot of that now 100% shifts online, and a lot of this technological limitations can be covered with cloud-based file storage and searchability tools. Integrating an employee directory with a messaging feature is also critical uh, to be able to simulate that feeling that you can approach anyone in the company and have a conversation with them if you need information from them to do your work better. Um, right now, maybe a lot of organizations are still tied to email, still tied to WhatsApp, and usually you don't have full access and full searchability of who is who in the company. Also, project and task management software, of course, is also something that you can use to be able to increase visibility and also improve communication for project statuses. Not only do you have to have that basic infrastructure to facilitate information access, but digitalizing admin processes. Usually, if a company is not ready to be able to digitally transform and work from home 100%, is because of these office administration processes that are still paper-based. Usually on-premise file and application storage is only accessible from their office desktop, for example. Leave and reimbursement requests either through Excel or paper-based and email. Same with Excel-based production reports, fingerprint-based clock in, clock out. And a lot of these new applications that's cloud-based and online can help solve those issues by making it more accessible. There's a lot of new technologies in clock in, clock out with a selfie and facial recognition and location-based tools. And of course, physical meetings have now shifted to Zoom or Teams meetings. The last part of addressing the technology gap is to make sure that there's a dedicated space for work conversations. One of the biggest challenges is to separate work and life balance in this new remote work era. And most of it is because face-to-face conversations that we used to have in the office in physical meetings now 100% shift to digital and instant messaging. So a lot of people experience an overload in terms of notifications in their personal messaging apps. That's why in order to keep, separate personal and work conversations, they need a separate workspace to be able to keep all that information. They know which application to shut down and not reply to when they want personal time with their family. And the more important part is for the company. There needs to be a centralized user management in how you organize your employees in this high turnover period with the centralized user management where you can remove terminated employees if they're no longer in the company to prevent data security leaks and all that. After you address the technological gap, you want to try to build a positive remote work culture, meaning that you want your company to normalize the ability to work from home and legitimize that it is actually an option, even if the pandemic is no more and the vaccine has been administered. And along with that, you will have some processes that you will also put in place to be able to do it, uh, build this relationship with your remote employees by onboarding them the right way in the first place, making sure that they feel accepted, and a lot of the new tools available in the market that help with employee engagement, that help with employee onboarding, making sure they have access to the correct information from the first day, can help with that. Of course, prioritizing FaceTime over instant messaging, over voice only types of communication levels can help you also to prevent isolation and help with the burnout. It is important for a lot of business leaders to over communicate their expectations to be able to eliminate misunderstandings, and not only for business leaders but also for employee to employee relationships. You sometimes don't know what's going on in somebody else's life, and if it's just through either voice or either through instant messaging or through email, sometimes a lot of these messages are misunderstood. So being able to over communicate is a skill that needs to be reinforced in a company that has a remote work culture. And of course, setting aside time to have HR events, team building events, even virtually, is also important. A lot of companies forget to do this, and it is not you're supposed to have it to be able to build a positive remote work culture. Not only that, after you build that culture, you need to set clear rules and expectations. Tools are important, but without these rules and expectations, that tell employees how to use these tools in the best way possible and how to use their time in the best way possible, and how they are supposed to continue to support the company's goals, the company's organization's targets. Um, you won't be able to unlock your company's true potential in working from home. So first, of course, updating the company regulations, introducing flexible hours, maybe um, making sure that you are okay with digitalizing a lot of processes that maybe used to be paper-based. For example, if somebody applies for leave, applies for reimbursement, you need a signature on paper. For example, in the previous process, now you're okay with a digital e-signature. Something like that has to be implemented in order for uh, uh, pure digital transformation to be able to happen. Um, Clearly communicating what they have to do every day and how that supports your company's or organization's goals is also very important. Just because it gives them a sense of purpose on how to contribute and how to maximize their day, even though they're not physically in the office. Well-defined competencies is also the other side of performance, where you have to know what you need to exhibit in terms of your relationship with other people, your business performance, to be able to perform highly in your work. Uh, in accordance with updating company regulations, focusing on achievements rather than busy work, as in like somebody has to just be in the office, is another shift in perspective that a lot of companies need to adjust to. So focusing on task completion, focusing on project completion, target achievement instead of pure somebody is in the office or not is another shift. And of course, recognizing accomplishments and celebrating wins together is also another thing that needs to be in place to be able to use the tools and manage remote work effectively. And on top of that, the last part of this building block, after you first use technology to your advantage, create a positive work culture, setting clear goals and expectations, then you add on ensuring accountability that those tasks and expectations are reached. So using a work tracking software or even a work monitoring software, um, there's been a big rise in that recently. Tools like ours, Synergo, Trello, Jira, um, but even also in the work monitoring or time monitoring type of tools that help you like capture screenshots of your employees' laptops every few minutes to ensure that they're always there is also another type of software that if you're the type of manager that wants to have that type of restriction and type of control is also available in the market right now. Defining clear work submission policies, so making sure that when you do have employees submitting tasks and projects, they do have to have certain evidence, certain processes they have to follow, using the tools that you've already bought to be able to make them also feel that there is a structure and not just ticking boxes online. And the last part is establishing a structured check-ins routine to make sure that they know a workday is still a workday. There are certain times that you do have to meet, you do have to talk to your colleagues, and making sure that that is part of their schedule on a day-to-day basis is also part of ensuring accountability. So after this, let me share a bit about how my company, Synergo Technologies, manages remote work. So first, I want to introduce to you what is Synergo. It is a cross-platform app that helps to cover performance management, task management, projects, engagement, HR workflows, operational workflows, e-learning, and recruiting in one app. So this is just a few things that we do. Everything is centralized in the chat for work section. And we all link that to all our other modules such as HR, e-learning, mobile-based attendance, CRM, and employee engagement. Uh, so Synergo sits at the center of our workplace, and it sits at the center of a lot of our customers' workplaces, with the chat for work as a place where people discuss ideas, apply for leaves, share files, combined with all the information that you get from the workflow builder that is part of our app. Um, that is directly linked to our KPIs and our performance reviews, and is linked to our e-learning module where you find out whether somebody's performing or not, and directly leads to bonuses in the payroll setting. So the first part on how we use Synergo at Synergo is using this for attendance. So making sure that our office virtually feels like a physical office. So when somebody comes into the office or clocks in, it is sent to a group chat, and this part where somebody announces that they're in can be reacted to. It's like giving a compliment to your colleague when they come into work. But more importantly, you always know if the person that you want to talk to is there or not. Um, on top of that, our bot helps you also organize and find a replacement if that person is not available, and has been proven quite useful for a lot of organizations that have cross-functional teams that maybe don't know each other too well. If you're looking for a specific person and if he's not available at that time, the bot can recommend you another person that could probably help with your issue. Um, Next is, of course, we do use Zoom to stay connected. Our team is global in both India and Indonesia. And we use this once a week to be able to uh, just get together and make sure that we are staying connected. We do have our own like meeting tracking tool where we list out everything that needs to be talked about during a meeting. And from there, both us and our customers use it to track if the meeting talking points are done or not in a more structured way. On top of that, we do also keep track of our to-do lists and tools and projects. We have a interface within our app that's linked to the group chat that you can help convert conversations into tasks. You can get reminders within everybody in the group if a task is due, and if a task is completed or not. At the end of the month, we have a summary or a leaderboard that helps you track who is the leader this month, and for engagement purposes, we do have an employee of the month based on this, with an incentive. And in general, we use Synergo for almost everything, starting from employee onboarding. We do have a workflow for that. So every time we do have a new employee, we can just add them to this workflow or page. They have access to all the information needed to all new employees, including new office guidelines, work from home product protocols, how to get their employee ID, how to log into their email. If they need access to any of the files that they need to, let's say, create a presentation, or do anything with, we always add them to the graphic designs files or graphic assets board or workflow. They have always access to that, so they don't have to look for it again or ask anybody about it. They can just search for something that they need automatically in these workflows. For our product development, we also use our own project tracking tool. We can always see what is being done, what is in the backlog, what is being done right now, what has been completed. And on top of that, that directly links to our KPIs. What has been a revolutionary idea that we have implemented so far is linking these workflows to the group chat. So not only that you have a separate chat for work, but information that you need, let's say, if you have a sales pipeline or a CRM and you want to know whenever there's an update there, it gets sent to your group chat, and you're able to directly talk about that lead, directly talk about that progress of that account directly in the chat without having to leave and open a separate app. So that's it from me. Thank you for your time. And now maybe I give the stage back to Koloki.
Okay. Thank you, Dom, for the presentation. It is very useful, yeah, for every one of us. So you explain how COVID-19 changes our life, especially work, from the normal to the new normal, and how we can stay productive. How can we still monitor our team so they can still work effectively and efficiently, and then maintaining their social interaction ya supaya tetap bisa communicate using the FaceTime and then using the functions bagaimana caranya apa yang mereka lakukan hari ini, how do they look and things like that. That one increase the social interaction even though we are working at home. So yeah, I think that's very good materials that you explained. So now I would like to open the floor for question and answers for everyone. Jika ada pertanyaan boleh tanyakan secara langsung dengan menggunakan raise hand ataupun menggunakan chat function. And then we will try to answer. Dom will try to answer one by one. So yeah, if anyone have any questions, please feel free. Dom, saya mau tanya Dom, kalau dari sistem yang Dom provide ya, say that if we have 1,000 of employees gitu, are the system can accommodate the needs?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Koloki. Yes, so we do have our system can accommodate any type of organization in terms of size and industry. So kita juga udah pernah serve up to 5,000, 10,000 employees per company juga we are able to. But the most important part itu every single employee is accounted for. Every single employee itu juga punya their own access, have their own targets, have their own expectations, and that helps them to stay connected to the company no matter how big the organization is.
When I look the portfolio yeah, of your clients, you have Ciputra, you have Astra, you have Alnusa, right? You have different industries in your client portfolio. If I may know, what is the biggest challenge, and then in what industry, and then how you solve the problem?
Okay, so in terms of a management standpoint, I think the biggest issue used to be defining goals and then clearly communicating them and continuously tracking them throughout a year, even especially when you have numerous offices across different cities, across different islands, across different countries, even. And making sure that every single contribution from each region, apa namanya, each employee itu juga monitored well within a system. This process usually people pakai either Excel or misalnya mostly Excel sih. And a lot of the times itu from the creation of those KPIs on an annual basis to be able to recap all of that and be able to track how you're performing so far takes a lot of effort from misalnya an SMO team atau HR team, something like that. And because of that, kita provide a solution for these types of organizations to be able to stay productive, to be able to reduce that time from maybe like a 3 to 6 month period to like a 2 to 4 week period. Just being able to create goals, send them over automatically. People can add projects that they apa namanya undertake to be able to support your company goals, dividing that into tasks, and continuously monitoring those tasks and how they contribute to your goals or not. And the flexibility to be able to change when you think these projects are not according to what your company wants or not supporting your company goals. So that flexibility in this ever-changing environment is also very important, and being able to respond as quickly as possible when you know something is working or not working is something else that we help facilitate for these companies.
Thank you for the explanation. Okay, anyone have any questions or still have some things that not clear?
I mean, something I can share too. Another issue that maybe another of our clients itu juga face itu high turnover, and they used to have numerous WhatsApp groups, and they had a hard time of keeping track who was in which group and who was still in the company and who wasn't. And if the HR person atau kayak the manager has to go into each group one by one to make sure that we're sharing information with the right people all the time, was a hassle. Not only that, apa namanya, um, past employees have access to your history in WhatsApp, even though you remove them from a group. And we help solve that with a centralized user management in our chat. Uh, as simple as that. Now that every time an employee to turn over atau udah nggak available in the company atau misalnya inactive for a period, the HR person just turns it off in the centralized user management and blocks access to everything, and then we can reopen anytime for that person.
Okay. So you can basically isolate that person, yeah, the person that not active anymore or not working at the company anymore. Then you can like exclude them from the group, yeah. So
Exactly.
they will not know oh, the critical information. Okay, nice. So for the authorities to access the system, basically everyone has it, and then you can segregate, pisahin the authority tergantung dari level of managementnya ya, Dom ya.
Exactly. Jadi ada yang bisa dijadiin admin, ada yang bisa dijadiin member biasa, and bisa juga kayak some people only use specific parts, some people have access to everything. Misalnya the dashboarding is important for management, tapi misalnya for lower level employees is not very important. You can separate access seperti itu juga.
Okay. One more question from me. Say that, for example, my company ya misalnya, my company consists of several layers of management level. Some of them they are already in the older generation, some of them they are newer generation. Nah, for the older generation or for the senior management, how easy for them to use your system? Bagaimana? Apakah itu user friendly enough atau mereka lebih banyak kesulitan dibandingin yang of course younger generation, and then how you solve the problem yang di experience by the senior management?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's the biggest challenge with apa namanya implementing any type of software. Yeah, I think senior management, people that are used to apa namanya existing processes. So we made it very user friendly in terms of dia punya user interface dari mobile app bisa diakses, dari web juga bisa diakses, nggak perlu download apa-apa. Masuknya juga tinggal pakai email dan password. Jadi kalau misalkan udah terbiasa pakai Facebook, udah terbiasa pakai WhatsApp, usually people don't have an issue in accessing, at least to start opening and using it. That's why we also built a chat interface as the main hub for everything, where you receive like reports, where you receive information from other parts of the app juga di sana. We try to make sure that it's as familiar as possible with everybody yang udah pernah pakai all these other apps yang usually common for everybody like a Facebook or WhatsApp. Of course, the harder part itu of course in the settings and all that itu biasa kita ajarin ke an admin or an IT person or an HR person yang actually apa namanya familiar with the concepts, familiar with all these different tools and settings. But from a user standpoint, itu is not very hard to teach.
Okay, thank you. Halo Bro Aming, selamat sore.
Sore. I have question ini. This Synergo ini kan is an apps, right?
Yes.
So it can so we as a company kan biasanya udah ada sistem software semuanya. Dan this one how these apps can work together with our software.
Oke, kalau boleh tahu, Pak Aming pakai software apa, Pak? Contohnya.
Kita sih ada, I'm in the dealership in automotive company. Jadi kita ada our own software sih, gitu. So tadi I joined a bit late, so I just want to know how Synergo can help or can improve our company punya sistem.
Oke,
We try to digitalize the company also.
Kita ambil contoh mungkin kayak cara HSO atau AH yang pakai itu lebih untuk tracking minutes of meeting. Itu something yang used to be very manual pakai Excel. Mereka meeting sama misalnya orang region di mana, harus keep tracknya pakai Excel, kirim-kirim form seperti itu. Terus kedua untuk pembagian KPI, cascading dari apa namanya HO ke each region used to be quite hard. Harus bikin Excel, dan kayak turunannya harus dikirim lagi ke apa namanya region head harus bikin turunan lagi and kirim lagi ke section head, and that long email chain eventually leads to a very convoluted Excel form yang akhirnya juga in 3 to 6 months baru bisa dilihat lagi. Project yang kita bikin sebenarnya nggak support any of the targets yang kita set awal. So simplifying all of that in terms of making sure KPI cascading tree-nya itu jelas dari awal, linking to specific projects yang kita mau kerjain di region in terms of like a marketing or marketing planning or event planning yang kita mau kerjain. Does it actually have an effect on your targets or not? You can compare all that.
Jadi kalau AHM itu pakai your product itu to communicate with their dealer apa supplier apa bagaimana tuh?
With their dealers.
With the dealers. That means all the Honda motorcycle dealers also use your Synergo.
Yes.
Oke, kalau untuk itu how's jadi your Synergo ini ada modul apa bagaimana sih sebenarnya? Mungkin
ada
untuk
modul
HR, untuk mungkin ada sales, ada apa gitu.
Ya, jadi ada modul-modul memang. Jadi kita mungkin dibaginya menjadi satu itu chat for work, kedua itu workflows, ketiga itu KPI dan performance appraisal, keempat itu e-learning, kelima itu baru masuk kayak ke HR dan payroll segalanya. Ya. Tapi kita bisa jualnya per paket, bisa kita jual modul juga. Kita very open. For some companies yang udah pakai SAP, udah pakai Oracle, kita juga integrate sama mereka, no problem.
Jadi bisa by module gitu ya?
Yes.
Okay. Pink, you have a question?
Enggak sih, enggak ada. So basically your apps or your platform is similar to SAP, Oracle, or let's say the local one as Axio Pro?
No, it's not. SAP and Oracle and all those people are enterprise resource planning, so specifically they'll be focused on inventory plus accounting. That's their core stuff that they do. We focus more on management and project management aspect of performance. Misalnya udah pakai SAP for inventory or accounting, misalnya kita mau ambil the financial information from there, and then we like your marketing efforts and all that too, we can do that. So kita lebih untuk that.
Okay, so and is Janet still with Synergo?
Yes. You know Janet,
because she approached me before.
Oh,
I haven't had the chance to get the presentation yet.
Okay, I mean.
So makanya pas ada dari Trojans ya udah ikut aja. I have a few of my directors is here. One of them is Iwan, is also Trojans.
Nice to meet you, Pak Iwan.
And also Sumantri, also one of my vice president, is here to listen.
Nice to meet everybody.
Previously mestinya si Janet yang mau present.
Oh gitu.
Cuman belum ada kesempatan dan udah karena COVID udah ngilang semuanya. Gitu.
Nice to finally meet you kalau gitu. Are you by any chance related to John Eng?
It's my son.
Oh, he's your son. I see.
Jonathan is my son, yeah.
Okay.
I have, everybody knows you here.
Oh.
In fact, one of my nephew, Kiki, is here. He played basketball with you before. He said, Kiki.
Oh. Kiki ya? Iya.
Gitu.
Okay. Everybody.
Aming. Sebelahnya kayaknya kenal tuh.
Oh, hello.
Ping ya.
Yeah. Hi. Oh my God, what a small world. So how are you related? Are you like the son of Ami?
Ini my nephew.
Oh, okay.
My nephew si Ping sama Kiki.
Oh,
I
okay.
asked them to listen also. Kiki udah pernah main basket katanya sama si Domenico ya.
Iya udah pernah.
Gitu. So ya pengen denger lah siap kalau mungkin ada the apps bisa cocok itu bisa ya improve kita punya company juga. Why not? Gitu.
Boleh. Hopefully maksudnya kita bisa ada separate meeting so I can actually show you what the app looks
Ya
like.
mungkin tadi saya juga presentationnya agak kurang nangkep juga sih. Just I'm not an IT guy also, so mungkin later lah nanti in other times bisa present lagi.
Oke.
Mungkin Iwan atau Sumantri ada question?
Hi everybody. Terima kasih mungkin Pak.
Any question?
Masih apa ya? Masih kayak belum terbayang sebetulnya.
Belum nangkep ya?
Gitu. Iya.
Lucky.
Yeah.
By the way, this is my brother-in-law Iwan.
Oh, hello.
He is a USC alumni also from IBER.
Oh, okay. Hello, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
I think we just add you to the group ya.
Yes.
Ya, cuman grupnya udah kepenuhan tuh Bro Aming. Jadi kita kan di grup satu lagi.
Pindah, udah maksimum ya, makanya pindah ke Telegram kan.
Iya.
Gitu.
Ya
udah nanti kita kapan setup lagi dah biar understand the synergo better.
I mean, if everybody has time, I can show you a bit of what it looks like right now sih. Kalau misalkan people want to see.
Boleh aja. Okay, please go ahead.
Everybody can see my screen ya kira-kira.
Ya.
Okay, so pertama kali login di Sinergo tuh bentuknya kayak begini. So each of our clients tuh ada dia punya URL sendiri. So misalnya ini ciputra.sinergo.co and all that. So everything is totally separate from each other. Ini chat interface-nya. So ini kayak misalkan your work chat tuh namanya di sini. You have access to all the employees di sini. Kalau di remove dari aplikasi ini udah nggak bisa pakai ini lagi. Jadi kalau misalkan what we mean by combining workflows and chat itu, jadi kalau misalkan kita ada workflow untuk apa namanya recruitment contohnya, setiap kali ada candidate itu pindah atau kita misalnya interview bakal langsung masuk ke dalam chat group ini. Jadi kita bisa langsung ngomongin di sini, kita mau lihat details untuk dia punya gaji lah, potential hasil interviewnya, dia punya resume, semuanya bisa langsung diakses dari chat ini tanpa harus misalnya buka email, tanpa harus misalnya buka LinkedIn, bisa langsung semuanya lihat di satu tempat. Same thing with sales. Jadi kalau misalnya kita prospecting, kita lagi mau ada new client dari kita punya sales pipeline, contohnya ada kita punya orang sales visit toko C contohnya, kita bisa langsung lihat isiannya apa aja, dia kontrak size berapa, produk listing di mana, task listing dari kerjaan apa, kalau misalkan ada attachment foto atau attachment proposalnya di mana, semuanya bisa langsung dikerjain di situ. Nah sebenarnya homepage Sinergo itu seperti ini, jadi kita by default lihat kita punya target. Saya login sebagai David Wallace ini. Bisa lihat saya punya KPI apa aja, pencapaiannya berapa, persentasenya berapa. Same thing with saya punya tim, bisa lihat siapa aja yang kurang baik, mereka terakhir update kapan. Terus saya bisa lihat my learning, ini semua yang harus dipelajarin by me. Kita misalnya mau bagian sosialisasi SOP baru, kita mau bagian new company guidelines atau apa, atau misalnya ada new learning material buat kita punya orang sales, kita bisa masuk ke sini, bikin quiz, orang bisa ngambil, kita bisa tahu mereka udah siap atau belum untuk bisa pergi jualan. Same ini ada activity stream kayak Facebook Wall, ada buku di sebelah kanan sini. Anything yang ada hubungan sama saya, jadi ada yang cuti, ada yang update KPI, ada yang kasih saya feedback, semuanya bisa masuk ke sini juga. Ini adalah announcement board untuk saya punya internal perusahaan juga masuk ke sini. So biasanya kita tunjukin kita punya performance module, itu dibagi jadi dua, satu itu dari sisi pembagian KPI. Ini yang AHM pakai lumayan ekstensif, itu pembagian KPI seperti ini. Jadi kalau misalkan company goals ada misalnya beberapa pilar yang mereka taruh dan apa aja yang harus di-achieve untuk bisa mencapai 100%. Bisa bikin turunannya seperti ini. Terus ada turunan lagi seperti ini. Ada turunan lagi seperti ini. Jadi kita mau bikin cascading dari misalnya ini dari level divisi ke departemen ke misalnya region, and then misalnya ke company goals, semuanya kita bisa lihat linknya seperti ini. Jadi kalau misalkan ada yang update dari level bawah, automatically langsung update all the other levels. This is what used to take really long dari konsolidasi Excel filenya aja. Sekarang ini dari HO tinggal bikin level 1, level 2, level ini seterusnya tinggal langsung ditambahin aja oleh each region. Seperti itu. Cara ngupdate-nya ada multiple ways. Kalau misalkan mau di-link to a specific app, like an SAP or a Salesforce atau apa, bisa. Nanti langsung masuk otomatis dia punya pencapaian. Kalau mau di-link, kalau misalkan nggak mau di-link tapi mau orang masukin progresnya sendiri juga bisa. Contohnya misalnya customer complaint, ada komplain baru, masukin angka 1, masukin attachment, komplainnya apa, masukin komen, komplain tentang produk C, tinggal ditambahin, update, automatically nambah di sini. The last part itu kalau misalkan mau update menggunakan kita punya workflow, contohnya misalnya, let's say this goal, which is make Dunder Mifflin the best place to work. One of the turunan itu to hire new candidates and is linked to recruitment workflow. Langsung bisa dibuka workflow-nya itu, recruitment contohnya. So you can track dia punya proses of an applicant throughout your company punya recruiting life cycle, dari aplikasi diterima, interview telepon, on-site, kita offer atau di-accept atau enggak. Each of these boxes is a different candidate with a different form and you can fill out. So when you want to add notes tentang what this candidate is like, you want to add a picture of him, you want to add his education background, add his resume, you can attach files here. You can add for what position, how do you rate this candidate, and who rated this candidate juga semuanya ke-track. But most importantly, whenever you move this person from on-site training to accepted, it automatically updates your KPI list as well. So this is actually a proprietary technology that we do have, combining both workflows and KPI management in one place. So this hire new candidates used to be 7 out of 5. When you update this number and move this to accepted, this gets updated to 8 out of 5, something like that. If anybody has any questions, just stop me anytime. If not, I can move on.
So Dom, basically your Synergo is a hub and a communication platform, yeah?
Yes. Hey John. Yeah, I'm just showing everybody my app.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically a hub and a communication platform.
Or communication platform.
And a hub. They have HR, they have a platform, but not too details, I think.
So from the other side, you can also appraise someone with a formal like performance appraisal tool. So we call it feedback. And this combines both kayak pencapaian dan order or KPI. So all of this automatically rated based on your punya pencapaian. On the other side, you also have competencies. You also have competencies that you need to appraise that person for. Contohnya misalnya add a little thinking. Yes. Hello.
Okay. Any other question from anyone? Iwan, ada question nggak, Wan? Sumantri?
Ya, Pak.
Any question? Udah ngerti apa belum?
Ini saya mau tanya soal ini ya, kalau ini kan sepertinya kayak mempermudah untuk bekerja di work from home lah ya, mengontrol untuk meeting segala macam. Pertanyaannya adalah bahwa di kita kan sudah ada sistem yang kita kan custom sistemnya, dibuat secara custom untuk Honda. Nah, custom aplikasi sistemnya kita ini bisa masuk nggak ke sistemnya Sinergo ini? Enggak kan nanti akan terjadi double input gitu loh. Data-datanya kan data sales, data yang lainnya, apakah data sales itu kan jalan terus, changing terus kan bro, setiap saat.
Ya, jadi caranya biasanya kita itu ada API yang bisa ditembak. Jadi kalau misalkan orang IT-nya bisa kirim datanya dari aplikasi yang ada ke tempat kita tuh no problem. Kalau misalkan memang bisa diintegrasi. As much as possible, of course, kita maunya diintegrasi biar nggak usah ada double input. And the things that you only use this app itu untuk pertama monitor, kedua adalah kalau misalkan sampai perlu bikin project management itu bisa di tracking dari sini. Tapi kalau misalkan hard numbers, of course kita prefer nggak perlu orang input karena pertama ya double entry, kedua mungkin ada human error. Jadi kalau misalkan bisa di link langsung bisa, kita no problem. Kita udah kerjaan link sama SAP, sama Oracle, sama a lot of internal tools yang juga pernah dibikin. Contohnya misalnya PM, juga kayak kita punya aplikasi buat lebih untuk monitor KPI, tapi datanya core-nya tuh dapat dari dia punya data sendiri, dia punya data warehouse. So, ya, long story short, kalau misalkan perlu diintegrasi bisa.
Oke.
Mungkin kita tutup kali ya ini sesi Q&A-nya. Nanti kalau ada pertanyaan lagi, kita udah share Dom punya contact info ya. And then we also have your contact that we can share to Dom. And then Dom can further meet with everyone for the and can discuss in more detail.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bro Luki.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, for joining, and then the housekeeping stuff before we end the session is the next series will be about managing remote meetings also by Dom. Jadi dari seriesnya tadi we will do in more detail about managing remote meetings, and then we will probably bring a resource ya Dom ya, so it can have the real life experience about the real application from Dom's system. Yeah. So the time and the Zoom link and everything will be announced later through WhatsApp, through our Instagram, and all other social media. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's basically about it today. Again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dom. Thank you, Bro Aming. Thank you, Bro Iwan. Thank you, Bro Sumandan semuanya. Have a good evening. Stay well, stay safe, and stay healthy. Fight on.
Stay healthy. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.